I've been amazed at I've just moved awards and areas, but in my previous board, I was released from the eldest quorum presidency and called as a young men's advisor. And I've had some experiences in young men's in the past where it was just kind of a drag and the group wasn't clicking and I was thinking, oh, this is really difficult. And so when I was called, I thought, oh man, the last, basing it off the last experience, and that experience serving in young men's recently it was so enlightening for me, and it was an incredible experience, and they were such a good group, and it made me realize that the previous group were a great group as well, but I was learning something different from it, and I was just so inspired by the youth in a way that I never expected that I would be. And well, you're traveling to these huge FSY conferences, and my wife and we were joint assistant coordinators in our.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you had that chance.
Yeah, but for you traveling around many of them, what are you learning from the youth and seeing from them, especially in the aftermath of this revised guide?
FSY is reaching out and allowing God to touch hearts in dramatic and long-lasting ways. FSY has been happening internationally successfully for many, many years. But it wasn't until just these last few years that we were able to kick it off in North America as well. So this last summer, we had over 122,000 young people who experienced FSY just in North America. Worldwide, it's well over 250,000 youth who are participating with FSY. We're seeing FSY in countries where it's never been before. We saw the first FSY in Dubai, in the Middle East. We saw the first FSY in Pakistan. There were 374 young people who came to the FSY in Pakistan. And here's what's exciting. The sacrament meeting attendance in that country, where the church is very small, the sacrament meeting attendance the very next week increased by 500 people. That means these youth were coming home so energized, so excited, that not only were they were motivating their families, but they were motivating friends to be Christian friends, to be able to come to church with them. We're seeing incredible things happen. The youth are taking a little uptick, and it's been remarkable to watch. It's easy to compare to COVID and show that the youth are much better off now than they were. But we're talking about comparing 2019, before COVID, to 2022, after COVID. And we're seeing the upticks. These youth are rising like a mighty wave. We're seeing more on-time ordinations for the young men. We're seeing more patriarchal blessings. We're seeing more seminary attendance. We're seeing more temple recommends being received and used by the youth. We're seeing missionary applications going up in a dramatic way. They are expecting that by the end of this year, there will be 72,000 missionaries out. We haven't seen numbers like that since President Monson lowered the age. And then the numbers were because there was a bubble that was coming through. And when the bubble was gone, the numbers kind of went down. But now we're seeing those numbers just lift and lift and lift and lift. And I'm so proud of these young people. You say you're inspired by them? I am so inspired by them because these young people are willing to walk against the current. The world is telling them, that they need to leave religion. The world is telling them that religion is harmful to them. The world is telling them that the church expects too much of them. The world is telling them all kinds of lies. But these young people are willing to stand up and walk against that tide, walk against that current. And it is remarkable to see this happening literally all over the world. I was recently in South America, in Argentina, in Paraguay, in Chile. The youth filled the chapels. They were so excited to see each other because they were seeing their friends from FSY. They are so excited to be part of the church. They stood and they sang the songs they learned at FSY, and they sang them with their whole heart. I just spoke to 3,000 teenagers in the Ogden area in Utah, and I talked about how the guide can give them reasons. I gave the youth, I stood some youth up in front of me, and I gave them the same questions I just reviewed with you, and then I pointed them to the headings in the guide, which then they read in front of the group as the answer to the question, and the youth erupted in applause. 3,000 teenagers applauding for the reasons they were hearing as these young people read the headings of the FSY guide. They were applauding. These youth are just doing incredible things. We just had a baptism in our home ward in Provo of a 17-year-old young man who is here from Argentina. And he just joined the church. And it is so exciting to see him just diving in and feeling so excited about being part of this, feeling like now he is in a position to truly make a difference. He says, I was just coasting. I was just depressed. I didn't know why I didn't feel like I had any purpose in life. And now he's not coasting. Now he's going full steam ahead. And it is just so exciting to see this positive movement all across the world.
And it's really beautiful to hear that, especially in my context, where we go to, well, the UK, in the recent census, it was found that we were one of the lowest countries in the whole world now for faith and belief, and people adopting a faith or a belief in God in any regard.
And everybody's happy to let the universe control their life, as if the universe cares, as if the universe can, but they're so hesitant to let a Heavenly Father love them. They're so willing to believe in a Big Bang, but they're so hesitant to believe in a Big Brother who loved them enough to atone for them. Yeah, we see that kind of downward slide all around the world, but we see our youth stepping up. And it is, as you said, inspiring.